talked about Log4j. We're going to see this continue. As Alex mentioned earlier, it's a bad one. It's bad because it leaves us vulnerable in a very fundamental way. They get root access. So let's look at this one and let's make sure that we're testing for this not just once. It's not just the first time you patched it. We need to look at it again. Even though it happened a year ago, we're seeing a huge increase in these attacks. And we understand they're going to go after our vendors. They're going to go after our partners, going to go after other ways in. Find the way in next door is what they're really doing. You know, it's not a good methodology if we don't trust but verify these partners, such as ourselves, so that we understand, because the numbers are getting worse, right? 75 billion devices, that's what I talked about earlier. And when we look at the cost of data breaches and the fact that we have 75 billion devices out there, well, that's more than 10 for every man, woman, and child on the planet. So that leaves us open to attack, right? Because we rely on technology. Well, let's do it in the safest way possible. And when we look at these numbers and the 10.5 trillion expected cost of cyber damages, that's a lot. That's more than the output of.
That's if nothing changes and remain on course, I would assume.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're relying on their predictions to say this. And when we look at things like cyber insurance and mobile security, and cyber security remains as a top concern, it should be. We have to fund it. We have to find good resources and moving into methodologies such as zero trust. In other words, not relying on where we are or the usual methodologies of security to protect
the old
us.
castle and
moat.
Yeah,
exactly. The castle's permeated, folks. They come right over the wall or through it. So let's be aware of that. And that's really what our biggest threats are. Smart devices, yes, they're a hacking target. 10% of the devices are hacked within the first year of ownership or by the manufacturer. Thank you very much, China. Phishing and social engineering, always an effective attack methodologies. Crime as a service, yep. They're actually doing it as a service, folks. They have support and everything else. Multiple threat vectors used in attacks. In other words, they're combining different vulnerabilities to find a good way in to be the most impactful against us. So we have to defend against all of that. Attacks on cloud security, just because it's the cloud, which is the internet, also the dark web, may not be safe. So we have to look at how do we secure that too, and looking at third parties. Once again, our vendors, our supply chains. Lack of cybersecurity knowledge is huge out there, folks. You are more safe and more aware because you heard this and listening and reading and going to our archive and other sources to find out better ways. And they are sponsored by nation states, right? It's not just the guy next door or the disgruntled worker. Securing a cloud environment, really important. Misconfigurations are the #1 issue here.